Welcome back to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate! So, we're back on the Spirit Board today, and the first spirit we're going to encounter is Toadsworth. Toadsworth is Princess Peach's steward from Super Mario Sunshine onwards. And, yeah, he's a very, very old, curmudgeonly toad. He's quite an endearing character as well. I'm kind of sad we don't see as much of Toadsworth as we used to, because there's something fun about just having this angry old, tired old man in the Mario universe. Anyway, he done. And next up we have Olaf from Advance Wars. Unlike Andy, Olaf is far more oriented towards winter combat. He is in fact a winter combat specialist, and his units get no disadvantages when battling in the snow. To represent that, we have a pair of ice climbers who, you know, what with their parkas, already kind of look the part of Olaf. We also have the icy ground, because, you know, freezing on the spot, as I'm sure many armies have done historically. And then you also have the steel diver weapon, which was a delayed gun weapon that the ice climbers were previously just using. That represents, you know, his infantry units. Also, I'm moving really goddamn slowly right now, but thankfully I was able to finish them off before I got any slower. Next up we have 5V. So, in the Wario games there is a character named 9V, a little kid who represents all of the Nintendo homage games. And his mother is named 5V. In the game Game & Wario for the Wii U, there's a mode in it called Gamer, where what you need to do is play the original WarioWare microgames on your Wii tablet. However, while you're doing this, you need to pay close attention to the screen, because 9V is playing his Wii U in bed, and he doesn't want his mother to catch him. If she does catch him, she gives him a proper bollocking in a very terrifying fashion, and you get a game over. So, it's a multitask of playing the microgames and avoiding your mother's wrath. So, this particular level, Gamer, is a reference to that minigame. And that was 5V. Next up we have Tennis Player. They play tennis. This is a reference to the NES game, Tennis. The enemy is Daisy, who uses a tennis racket exclusively. And also Pong is happening, because tennis. This is probably the simplest one that I've needed to explain the least, so there you go. It's tennis. And I even like the fact that the Pokemon Stadium looks remotely like a tennis court. Every little detail's in place. Okay, Musashi, this is an interesting one. He is from Sushi Striker, The Way of Sushido, which is a puzzle game set in a world where sushi is banned. And you have to basically complete a bunch of sushi-related puzzles. And what I like about this particular level is that it mimics the puzzle game itself by having sushi spawn, and then it has strong winds blow the sushi off screen, kind of like a sushi conveyor, kind of like how the sushi would move in that game. Also, you know, small town young boy. Anyway, next up we have the Sumo Brothers from the Rhythm Paradise games. So the Rhythm Paradise games are a bunch of rhythm games where you have cartoony characters doing very simple motions, and you have to do timed button presses with those motions. The Sumo Brothers in particular are a pair of sumo wrestlers who do their big sumo war dance. There's probably an actual name for that, but that's what they do. And they're being represented here by two big dang Donkey Kongs. But you know what? Usually that would be a bad thing, but I always find that bigger targets are easier to hit, easier to combo, and easier to beat. So yeah. Next up is Zelgius. This one is one hell of a spoiler for Fire Emblem 9. In Fire Emblem 9, there is a character named the Black Knight. He is an incredibly cryptic knight. If you encounter him in-game, he will one-shot you and insta-kill you because he has indestructible armor and a goddess-blessed weapon named Alondite. And he also kills your father. He's the one who kills your father, despite your father being the one who trained him in the first place. So, you spend the whole of Fire Emblem 9, you know, taking down Ashnard and all his evil army, but also trying to get revenge for your father. And it's actually a toss-up whether you can actually beat him or not. You know, there is a chance that you can't even kill him before the building collapses and he escapes. So, that's the Black Knight. In the second game, Radiant Dawn, it's revealed that the Black Knight is actually Zelgius, a friendly ally who you meet in the first game, who was basically being a horrible double agent. So yeah, if for anyone who may have played Fire Emblem 9 and wondered themselves, who was that Black Knight in the end? It was Zelgius, as Smash Bros. Has now just revealed to you. And this fight, fun fact, is really fucking hard. Hence why I had to weaken him before the fight started. And even still, I've had to play super defensively. Alright, next up we have Shaman. This is one of the Pixie legendary Pokemon introduced in Generation 4. It has an alternate form, its Sky form as well, but its basic Hedgehog form is a fairly defensive Grass-type Pokemon. Its main strategy, if you're going to use it competitively, is to basically use Leech Seed to slowly drain opponents, and Substitute to keep itself invincible while it's draining your health. To represent the whole health drain mechanic that many Grass-type Pokemon are known for, we have a battle where I am slowly dying. The lipstick on my head that slowly drains my health here is representative of the Pokemon move Leech Seed. And yeah, on that note, I need to finish this sucker. I need to... Oh god, the cruel irony of a grass type using fire on me. Get down. Got him. Okay, next up we have Andrew Oikoni. I think that's how you say his surname. He is the nephew of Star Fox's main villain, Andros. He is an ape, and he is actually a member of Star Fox's rival team, Star Wolf. So, yeah, pretty bad blood with Star Fox altogether. To represent him, we have Diddy Kong, and we're fighting him on the Great Fox, because, you know, dogfighting. So, he gets more powerful over time, which makes sense, because members of Star Wolf, if you take down their allies, will become more formidable. But, you know what, a big slap to the face will deal with that. Next up we have the Rock Pikmin. These were introduced in Pikmin 3, and they are exactly what they seem to be. They are Pikmin made out of rocks. As such, they're super durable, and they pack a wallop if you throw them at opponents. Unfortunately, they don't go very far if you throw them, because they're heavy. So, yeah, to represent that, we have a bunch of Kirbys being as annoying as hell. As annoying as possible. Just constantly spamming that horrible rock move. All you have to do is just get those clean hits. And I'm going to give you the slaps. Yeah, get slapped. There we go. Next up, speaking of rocks, we have Gorons. Gorons are one of the races from the Legend of Zelda series that live in Hyrule. And they are rock people. They live in the mountains. They love to roll around. They love to roll out everywhere. And also they eat rocks. So, yeah. They're also very friendly, very chill. And I feel a little bad that I'm thrashing this one so thoroughly. Also, bombs appearing there, which makes sense because, yeah, to get around their territory, you inevitably have to end up bringing bombs with you in order to actually traverse the mountains. There's the Goron. Next up is Lyn. Lyn is the main protagonist of Fire Emblem 7, Blazing Blade, a prequel to Fire Emblem 6. I go through all of this in my Fire Emblem reviews. Anyway, she is a swordmaster who starts off as a nomad from Sasei. And she's also your closest ally and friend in that game, since you do create an avatar in Fire Emblem 7. That said, after a while it's revealed that she is royalty, and she becomes one of your 3 main lords in that game. You actually get 3 main protagonists in that Fire Emblem game, which makes it kind of a cakewalk, because they're all super OP. Lin in particular is functionally the same as a Myrmidon. She's a very fast sword fighter. Hence why she's being played by a Zero Suit Samus with a killing edge. Also, Lin herself keeps appearing, which is a pain in the arse because I can never get the timing down on dodging that horrible, horrible, powerful slice. I just need to finish off Lin now before she can return as an assist trophy. Come on! Get the slam dunks. Oh, jeez. Oh, never mind. That did it. I forget that Zero Suit's recovery is kind of garbage. Next up is Meowth, Pokemon number 52. A normal type introduced in Generation 1, and the signature Pokemon of Jesse and James from the Pokemon anime, or Pokemon Yellow.
Meowth, that's right!
Anyway, Meowth here is based on a Lucky Cats, and has a move named Payday, where Meowth attacks you with coins, and you can actually collect those coins after the battle to earn extra scratch. To represent that, we have the level from New Super Mario Bros. 2, which was a very coin-based game. And if you collect enough coins, you turn gold. If you turn gold, you become super OP. So, this is a battle where you do want to spend a little time running around and collecting, and then you can do this. Just incredibly OP one-shots. Killed with a suplex. Meowth, that's right. Next up is Munchie Monk, another Rhythm Paradise character. This one is a monk who carries a bindle with a baby on his back, and he eats food rhythmically. He does martial arts moves in order to throw food into his mouth. So yeah, to represent that, we have the Munchie Monk himself, who is being played by Ken, who is constantly spamming Shoryukens, uppercuts, and the little Kirbys are basically little balls of food. The same balls of food that he would throw into his mouth in the rhythm games. And we're also playing on a train, which is where he can be found in one of those games. Next up is Crazy Daisy. This threw me because I realised it's actually from the Yoshi series. It's from Yoshi's Island. I actually know them better from Paper Mario. They appear in Paper Mario as well as really, really goddamn annoying enemies near Twilight Town. Anyway, they are little flowers and they attack with song. So to represent that, we have a cute little Isabelle, and we have her summoning a Meloetta, a legendary Pokemon who fights you with music. Who in fact attacks you with musical notes in this case. So yeah. Also the level we're playing on is straight from Yoshi's Island as well. So time to take down this Daisy. Boom! That wasn't even a kill move and it did the job. Next up is Baba. Baba is one of the F-Zero racers. And whereas F-Zero racers usually have a very in-depth lore about them, Baba's is surprisingly simple. Baba was raised and trained to become a powerful racer. Physically, he's very, very strong. After losing his first F-Zero tournament, he decided to get swole. And I believe there's a lot of rumours amongst the F-Zero community that he's also gay, but you know what? Representation only really matters when it's, you know, blatant. So that is just speculation. He also has a very effeminate scream when he is taken out in the F-Zero games, but you know what? That's coding, if anything. That's nothing. That's nothing to go on. Anyway, there goes Bubba. And next up, we have Magneton, an electric-type Pokemon introduced in Gen 1 as the evolved form of Magnemites. And later on, he would be reinvented in quite a few ways. From Generation 2 onwards, he also became a Steel-type, giving him a ton of resistances and making him really useful. And from Generation 4 onwards, he even got another evolution in the form of Magnezone, who you can actually see in the background of this level. He occasionally floats in, so... Oh, there he is. Flitting around in the background. Well, that was easy. Next up we have Harry from Telero Boxer for the Virtual Boy. Now we're getting into the real in-depth, nitty-gritty, obscure shit. So, Telero for the Virtual Boy was a virtual reality boxing game, and because it was on the Virtual Boy, everything was a horrible red colour. To better reflect that, I've turned the screen red. You may notice that this is hard to watch and it hurts your eyes. That was pretty much the Virtual Boy's major issue right there. So yeah. As for Harry himself, he was a Telero boxer. It was set in the 22nd century where you could neurolink yourself to a robot and fight with it. And he was your main character for doing that with. Next up we have the Baitans from Super Smash Bros. The Subspace Emissary. Another Subspace Emissary related spirit. You know, when I was battling these for the first time, and yes, they're being played by Pac-Man because they basically are little Pac-Men, I actually started wondering to myself, is World of Light, this campaign, a sequel to the Subspace Emissary? Is it set in the same universe? If you can even call that a universe. And at that point, I actually then started getting really confused, and I started to realise that Super Smash Bros. Plots are really vague, and they're not at all explained. It hasn't really been explained why all of these Nintendo characters are in the same universe, and why they're fighting Galeem, this giant death god, this giant god of lights, who is also a death god. Smash Bros. Plots are very much open to interpretation. It leaves a lot to your imagination, and it doesn't outright explain itself, which I don't know if I respect that or not. I don't know. I guess it's just Nintendo's whole ethos of put the gameplay first and the plot second. The plot is just a vehicle for you to have a lot of fun battles. If anything, Subspace Emissary had more of a plot. It was more of a universe that had its own rules and such, like, you know, all beings were actually animated trophies, and if they were defeated, would revert back to their trophy form. And these subspace creatures were aliens who wanted to take them out. It's a lot to think about. Anyway, next up we have Kurikin from Kurikin Nano Island Story. This was actually a DS exclusive RPG released only in Japan, in which you attended the Nano Academy and you had to play as hordes of bacteria which would multiply and divide, and you had to use them in order to defeat other colonies of bacteria. So to control them, instead of controlling singular units, you would use your stylus to grab chunks of bacteria and direct them around, and if you needed to, you could even blow into the DS's microphone in order to disperse the bacteria, to blow them all away. So I'm not gonna lie, the idea of that game sounds repellent to me. That sounds disgusting, but I'm sure it was a very fun time. I'm sure it was a decent game. And this fight, because everything is so small, you know, what with the whole bacteria thing and the whole petri dish-esque look of this level, this fight is really goddamn irritating. It's really hard to hit your opponents, or to have them hit you or anything. Thank goodness this isn't a timed battle, or we'd be here for much longer than we need to be. I need to kill you guys. I definitely need to kill y'all. I just need to land those hits now. Come on! There we go. Perfect rock. Next up is Alolan Vulpix, and oh my gosh, it's the cutest little thing! Alolan Vulpix is the Alolan variant of the Pokemon Vulpix, introduced in Pokemon Generation 7, Sun and Moon. It is an Ice type, and also a Fairy type. Its signature move is Aurora Veil, which actually creates a defensive barrier should the battlefield be hailing. So, to represent that, we have a very foggy stage. And speaking of Vulpix, here's a normal-ass Vulpix, introduced in Generation 1. This one, still adorable, maybe not quite as much, is a Fire type. So, yeah, in this battle, we're going to be battling in Saffron City against this cute little Vulpix, whilst actual Vulpixes are summoned from Pokeballs, spamming their fire moves. Vulpix itself, I never mentioned this, in both cases, evolve into the Pokemon Ninetales. So if you want to go full Naruto with your Pokemon team, that's how you do it. And, oh, shit! Oh, that could have been very bad. If that fight went on for more than, like, 2 more seconds, I'd have lost. Anyway, next up we have the Shadow Bugs from the Subspace Emissary once again. These were some horrible little bastards who would spawn from the shadows, and if they did hit you, they would actually do a shadowy, poisonous damage to you. So to represent that, we have a horrible poisonous cloud, slowly draining our health in this level. But thankfully, I'm immune to poisons right now. I've put on some poison immunity, thanks to Sakura, so I'm good, as is. This is Raiden with the help of Sakura. And, you know what? These guys are pretty damn easy, all things considered, so yeah. Next up is Blastoise. Blastoise is the final form of Squirtle, and kind of like that battle where Venusaur was being played by a big Ivysaur, this one has Blastoise being played by a big Squirtle with a gun. Because Blastoise is basically a big Squirtle with a gun. I love that. That is one of my favourite decisions. Also, we're fighting on at Delfino Plaza, which is probably one of the most watery levels of all. So, yeah. What with water appearing quite frequently in this stage. So, yeah, with that said, this is quite a simple battle. All you have to do is not get hit by Blastoise's cannons. I'm a little sad that Wartortle never got a time to shine in this, but there you go. Anyway, next up is Party Phil. Party Phil is the host of the Wii Party games. And to represent him, we have a very party-esque level, kind of like that river survival spirit battle we had before. Bombs are going to rain from the sky, don't get hit by the bombs. And your opponents, annoyingly, are resistant to bombs, so now there is even more of an advantage against you this time. So whatever you do, try not to get blown to fuck. This fight is almost entirely luck-based, unless you put on a spirit that makes you resistant to explosions as well. Or maybe one that allows you to just camp off stage for longer. Maybe extra jumps. Yeah, you're gonna be, you're gonna just be praying for this battle that you don't get destroyed by bombs. On that note, fuck! Come on! I'm so close now, I'm so damn close, I can't lose this. I refuse to lose this one. Come on! Laser sword. Nope! Oh, jeez. Oh, no. This is really... No! Wow. Luck. Straight up luck. Okay, so that's all of those battles for this episode. But before we finish, let's do some summoning. First of all, if we put the Sumo Brothers, Sumos, and a fighter named Piston Hondo together, we get a Sumo, who is a fighter named Honda. E-Honda from Street Fighter. He gives you the strong throw ability, which makes sense because Honda throws like an absolute monster. Also, if we combine Rover and Baby Peach... Okay, sure, why not? We get Cat Peach. Cat Peach appeared in Super Mario 3D World, along with the other cat-powered friends. And she could climb up walls and do cat-like maneuvers. Last of all, we have Andy, who's a mechanic, and Vulpix, who is a fox with multiple tails. And that will give us a fox with multiple tails, who is a mechanic. That is to say, Tails, from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Lovely. I love the logic behind all of these fusions, they're so good. It's like a weird look into the fact that most video game characters are just other characters mashed together. In concept. Anyway, let's do some leveling up, because I have a lot of spirits that can be promoted. So first of all, we're going to level up Lynn. And if I know my Fire Emblem 7, she's going to be promoted into a Blade Lord. Basically a Swords Master, and also a Lord. So, a really overpowered unit. And the artwork of her here actually confused me for a while. What I didn't realise is that is her Fire Emblem Heroes artwork. And I never played that game, because I don't play mobile games. Anyway, Zelgius himself, kind of obvious what he's going to promote into. Just further emphasising the spoiler for anyone who, you know, hasn't played Radiant Dawn. He is the Black Knight. And being the Black Knight, his spirit is actually super dope, because it gives us the Armor Knight ability, making you super slow, but also giving you super armor so you do not flinch. Next up, we have, which Pokemon? Shaman or Giratina? Or 5-Volt? Let's go for 5-Volt. Let's go for the spirit that is the lowest level and should be the easiest to promote. So 5-Volts, when promoted, is going to become her terrifying angry self from Gamer. There she goes. She has critical health attack, so when she gets to low health, she gets even angrier. That's awesome. That basically gives you rage mode. Last of all, well, not last of all, second to last, we have Shaman, who, as I mentioned before, has a Sky form. A form which gives Shaman the flying type, along with the grass type. And also makes Shaman way more of a glass cannon. And in this case, it gives us extra jumping ability, because it can fly. One more to do, and that is Giratina. Do I have enough snacks for Giratina? I don't know if I have enough snacks for this. Come on! Snacks. Come on, snacks! Ah, so close. Alright, let's spend one of my spirits that I'm not using. I actually did have to play through all of World of Light a second time because one of my recording sessions just didn't go, so I do have a couple of duplicates. Let's spend the duplicates. And that will give us Giratina's origin form. This is the form Giratina takes when found in the Distortion world, and it can actually damage through shields as a reference to its move, Shadow Force. Nice detail. Anyway, see you soon.